Hi, my name is Doug Jones, Chairman of the Board of the Western Stock Show Association. Today we'd be otherwise in the Beef Palace getting ready for the junior sale, but as we all know, that won't be happening this year, as will Stock Show will not be happening this year. But we've got a lot of other things that are occurring, and we're excited about those as we get ready for 2022. With me today, of course, two guys that I've known for a long, long time. They're both board members of the Western Stock Show Association with me, Bruce Wagner and Buck Hutchison. They've both been so integral on the junior sale. For Buck, almost 25 years, has been a chair or a vice chair, and Bruce has been the chair now for the last 5 years and was co-chair with Buck before that. So these two guys have made a big, big difference in an event that occurs here at the Stock Show every year that's probably been happening, we were trying to figure that out earlier, probably over 50 years in some way, shape, or form. This show and this event, helping young people, has been just essential and has grown every year to be bigger and better. Bruce, tell me a little bit about when did you first get involved, and what's your first memory? Probably buying something, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think it was buying something, and it was one of those things where I bought a couple of animals at one of the auctions, and I got tapped out to help be on the committee by Buck, and I've been on the committee for, I think it's 15 years now, and served with Buck as co-chair for, I know we must have done that for 5 or 6 years, and including my chairship here. So it's been a lot of fun. It's a great part of the National Western Stock Show, and I'm just glad to be a part of it.
We're glad you're doing it.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Buck, what's your greatest memory of the junior sale, since you've only been doing this for 25 plus years?
Buying my first animal in the late 60s, I think it was 68, and I used to get some vendors of ours. We're in the livestock equipment business, and I bought the champion hog. Being a guy from Iowa, I figured that was the way I ought to start with this operation, and it did work. So now we have a lot of associations with not just the 6-state area around, but this has become a real organizational structure that goes through the upper Midwest, and basically it's brought a lot of kids to the show that are in the junior sale. And I'm proud that I've been involved as long as I have.
Talk about how many young people we impact each year and some of the dollars that exist between, the grand champion has gone from a small amount to numbers that just blow you away. Talk about some of that as far as the dollars and the numbers.
Well, we've been very fortunate to have a lot of generous people in the community to help support the junior livestock auction. When I first got involved, the grand champion steer would go from somewhere between maybe $35, $40, maybe up to $50,000. And it's grown just almost proportionally every year since probably the last 10 years, I guess. And we've gone over $100,000 for a couple years now, and which is exciting. It's a lot of fun to be a part of that. And I remember the year that we started out, and we thought that the family that had been buying the grand champion steer for years was going to buy it again that year, and there was somebody bidding back up behind all of us, and we couldn't figure out who it was, and that's when Del Frisco's jumped in the fray of things, and they're really the ones that started.
The opening year they brought the Del Frisco's to town from Texas.
That's right. That's right. So they made a big splash.
They did a big pop.
They made a big pop, and it's been moving up ever since. So
how many years did they buy the grand champion? Do you remember?
I think they bought it for 3 or 4 or 5.
Yeah,
but
they always bid.
Yeah, they always bid.
Always bid.
That's right.
And still are. But it's become more than a steakhouse bidders. Been a lot of companies, and not only are we beneficial to have of people that want to bid the top 3 or the top 6, we've got people that want to support the kids that are from a lot of states and areas, and our show has gotten to be in 7 figures, and that is money returned to the kids, but it's also money that's going into the scholarship for all the young people that have participated in this show. And it's a year-long deal. and the top 100 of sheep, hogs, and cattle make the finals. And that's where the payoff is. But there's a lot of association that has brought kids from multiple states to be part of this show that is now pretty highly positioned in television, and biggest 6:30 show on the air during the stock show time.
Well, and don't forget the goats.
The goats.
Goats. Goats is a big,
Yeah,
big
right.
ad.
I forgot about the goats.
That's right. Who could forget the
You made
goats?
me
Who could forget the goats?
I mean, we added that. Channel 9 stepped in, and we were talking earlier, like the late 90s, 97, 8, 9. That was significant as far as awareness, I guess.
Wasn't it 95?
Maybe it was. I can't remember exactly what year it was.
And it was a moderating position, but it was progressively organized so that we could handle more kids in the preliminaries and in the finals, and then bring the top 36, 40 animals into a television show, which has really been what has brought kids from out of state in, and it's not a local deal. They're here to compete in a national base.
Right. It's made a difference in a lot of young people's lives. I love hearing their stories as they're interviewed. Talk about, you guys have had a chance to talk to and kind of some of these young people, because you're going to all the judging before. You guys are dogging that, and you're kind of following it through so you know what's what. Talk about some of the experiences these young people have shared.
Well, I think one of the most exciting things is that you get to talking to a lot of these young kids, and you see it throughout the whole National Western Stock Show. I mean, this is called the granddaddy of them all, right? It all starts in January with the National Western, and you start talking to these kids, and they're not the first generation that's shown here. Oftentimes, it's 3, 4, 5, 6 generations of families that have shown here, and it's exciting to see that happen. And even though we may not bring as much money as a Houston or a San Antonio or Fort Worth in terms of the top animal, they get a pretty good size percent, which I think helps them, but they love coming and showing at the National Western. And generally, as you talk to these kids, and this surprising number of families that they'll show steers here, they'll show steers in Fort Worth, they'll show steers in Houston, maybe 2 or 3 shows. But they always bring their best steer to the National Western.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think I knew that.
And it's, I think the whole program is what makes it really special. Taking the grand champion, reserve grand champion steer down to Brown Palace the day of the sale is really exciting for the kids and the family and the whole process of that. And they just have a lot of fun. They like being here. The fact that it's in January in Denver and everybody knows what the weather can be like during the stock show doesn't bother any of them. They love coming.
Now, it's a reminder, we're going to extend so those who couldn't show this year.
Every year, the last year they can show is the year of their 18th birthday. And so this year we're extending it since the 2021 show was postponed until 2022, so that those kids can come back and show again at the National Western, which will probably be unique because they may not be able to do that other places. So it gives them a chance to finish out what they started. They obviously have to have a different animal, steer, hog, lamb, or goat, but because those would be too big and too old. But it is an opportunity for them to come back and show again.
There's a lot of work put into these animals, sheep, hogs, and cattle, but it's a course in its own, and it takes all year to prepare. If you make the finals, you're going to be interviewed by members of our board of directors and judged on their knowledge and how they've really put their program together. Most of them are older, but the kids that are 8, 9, and 10 years old are the ones that get a lot of the crowd rooting for them, because you got a 900-pound
There's some little.
We're laughing.
There's some little ones out there, and they're whipping that.
with a 60-pound anchor on there.
900-pound steer, and they're about up to the middle of their nose, but they know who's the boss. And when you get the top 20 in that arena, there isn't any better way to tell people what the National Western's all about, because that is what we know. We want to have the next generation coming to the National Western, and you'd be surprised. Some of the guys that are 50 years old will grab you by the shoulder and say, "I was in that sale," and so
right.
it's been a real position that makes it historically pretty honest. That it's a real delight for these guys to come out of the country and raise their steer or their lamb or a hog and come to the National Western.
We always say we're the Super Bowl of livestock shows, which we are. We're the biggest, the largest. But the highlight is always our youth programs and how we support the young people in agriculture. And I know that's what motivates me, and I know it motivates you guys. You've been doing this, and we're all motivated by education and youth and what they do.
Given the fact we're not going to have a junior auction this year, we do have to complete the catch-calf program from last year's stock show. So there will be a catch-calf show on January 9th. And we're going to do a sale at the end of that and sell all the catch-a-calves. The thing that'll be unique about this year is, generally speaking, only the Grand and the Reserve Grand Champion catch-a-calf get sold at the junior auction. But this year we're going to give all 35 kids that have got calves that'll be shown the opportunity to be a part of the sale, and there's a lot of excitement about that, and we look forward to a great sale and all the help with the past buyers to make this a successful sale on January 9th.
You know, guys, it's been great chatting. Thank you. Thank you for what you do. Thanks for serving on the board of directors. Thanks for cheering the junior sale. Thanks for all your years of cheering the junior sale. It's been a great source. When you come there at 6:30 and the TV's ready to start, you can't find a seat, and people are elbow to elbow and shoulder to shoulder. It wouldn't play well in the COVID environment, but that's okay. This too shall pass, and we'll all be great. But thanks for being here, and thanks for what you do for Western Stock Show Association.
Well, thank you for your leadership, Doug.
And
Appreciate
your
it.
leadership has taken us through these years that we've needed a lot of help. And I know that both of us congratulate you on how you've kept this alive and well.
Well, you're kind, but it's a team. We're all here together. We're all here together.
Here's to 2022.
Amen.